SCP-2687. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Due to the widespread use of SCP-2687, Mobile Task Force Gamma-41, Bad Science, has been formed to track and contain any uncontained instances of SCP-2687-A and B.1. At all times, a set of 20 SCP-2687-A instances per depicted organ is to be kept at Storage Site-77 for use as emergency replacement organs when it is logistically infeasible to use non-anomalous organs. Any instances recovered beyond the original set of 20 per depicted organ are to be incinerated at a temperature of at least 475 degree K, plus additional information level 3/2687 clearance required, credentials accepted. Research Lab Number 14 of Storage Site 77 is to be allocated for the production and improvement of SCP-2687-C due to their knowledge of SCP-2687's properties. Research Lab Number 14 is to be staffed by the former Prometheus Labs employees recovered during the initial suppression efforts of SCP-2687, due to the anomalous nature of SCP-2687-C, as well as current attitudes of Foundation staff toward Prometheus Labs. Knowledge of the purpose of Research Lab Number 14 is to be restricted to the following groups: the current Site Director of Storage Site 77, Level 3 or higher researchers assigned to SCP-2687, members of MTF Gamma-41, the O5 Council, any compliant Prometheus Labs operatives found during future SCP-2687 recovery efforts may be added to Research Lab. #14's roster, TTT, description: SCP-2687-A is a currently unknown number of polyethylene models of various human organs presumed to have originally been manufactured by Prometheus Labs. When 20 g of organic material 2 is applied to a given instance of SCP-2687-A, the following occurs over the course of approximately 10 minutes. The model immediately changes composition from a plastic similar to high-density polyethylene to a series of unusually high-density proteins often found in SCPs such as SCP-2923-07 and SCP-534. Via unknown processes, the model increases vastly in volume, often destroying its container while doing so. Density of the model decreases, as per non-anomalous physics models. Aforementioned proteins form together into a previously undocumented form of stem cells. The stem cells differentiate into cells found in the modeled organ, essentially recreating the organ with a 0.01% error margin. Organs generated by SCP-2687-A are collectively labeled SCP-2687-B. All SCP-2687-B instances are genetically identical, and are apparently immune to organ rejection. During regular cellular replacement/death, the cells within instances of SCP-2687-B will revert into their original composition. This increasingly large amount of plastic within a person's body leads to death in 75% of untreated cases. However, the use of SCP-2687-C has been capable of preventing death from occurring. SCP-2687-C is an in vivo CRISPR-Cas93 treatment created by the staff of Research Lab Number 14 during initial development of SCP-2687. SCP-2687-C uses anomalous genetic material to modify cells surrounding a SCP-2687-B instance, creating specialized organelles capable of processing the polyethylene plastic excreted by SCP-2687-B instances during cellular replacement. SCP-2687-C displays slight antimimetic properties. Those not aware of SCP-2687-C's properties invariably ignore any information related to SCP-2687-C's existence. For those aware of SCP-2687-C's properties are capable of perceiving SCP-2687-C, but are incapable of sharing information regarding SCP-2687-C with persons unaware of SCP-2687-C. Currently, information regarding SCP-2687-C's properties can be gathered via the administration of a standard Class W NSTIC. For approximately 2 hours after the NSTIC is administered, information regarding SCP-2687-C's properties can be received and, unlike most anti-memes, permanently remembered. This specific combination of antimemetic properties allows SCP-2687-C to be administered without a risk of discovery. The current version of SCP-2687-C was developed soon after the staff of Research Lab No. 14 was employed by the Foundation. Previous versions of SCP-2687-C include a machine approximately the size of a modern fMRI capable of relocating all polyethylene currently inside a human body, prototype, never released, direct injection of enzymes capable of breaking down polyethylene, prototype, never released, a swarm of microscopic, biodegradable drones that broke down polyethylene in the body, version released to the public, various other temporary solutions. 5, MTF Gamma 41 abridged documentation. Plus MTF Gamma 41 credentials required, credentials accepted, composed of former members from various other mobile task forces. MTF Gamma 41's mission is threefold: locate facilities potentially housing SCP-2687-A instances and manage SCP-2687-A instances as per current containment procedures, locate civilians potentially housing SCP-2687-B instances and administer SCP-2687-C as well as customized memory modifications, dismantle the Chaos Insurgency communications network masquerading as Prometheus Labs. Objective number 1 will be completed via the use of confiscated Prometheus Labs records, as well as information from Research Lab No. 14 staff. Facilities potentially containing SCP-2687-A are to be infiltrated for a maximum period of 1 month. If SCP-2687-A is detected, it is to be removed via any means necessary to prevent further use. Objective number 2 will be completed using records from facilities discovered during completion of objective number 1. Upon establishing contact with civilians possessing SCP-2687-B, MTF Gamma 41 operatives are to coax said civilians into arriving at a nearby Foundation observation post. Upon entering said observation post, civilians are to be immediately administered an instance of SCP-2687-C and replace all memories concerning the observation post with memories concerning a routine visit to a local doctor. Objective number 3 will be completed via military action on MTF Nu 7, Hammer Down, S part, as well as advanced communication interference of MTF Gamma 41's part. Members of MTF Gamma 41 are to configure customized radio jammers inside observation posts near Chaos Insurgency assets. Said radio jammers are to broadcast on all CI frequencies, attempting to override their communications. If successful, any overridden broadcasts must be replaced with Class 3 or stronger meme ticks conveying a message commanding that all SCP-2687-A instances are to be destroyed. If unsuccessful, MTF Gamma 41 must contact MTF Nu 7 and request immediate military action. Interview 2687-1, plus Level 3/2687 clearance required, credentials accepted. The following interview was between Agent Westbay and Dr. Lena, a staff member of Research Lab No. 14. This interview was performed soon after Dr. Lena contacted the Foundation, and was the first source of information regarding conditions surrounding SCP-2687. Begin log, extraneous information redacted, see description. W. What was the first indicator that development of the product was compromised? L. In retrospect, Mickey joining our team was probably the first indicator. He was always a bit off. It's hard to describe. Even when he was completely focused on his work, he somehow seemed preoccupied. W. You mentioned earlier that your team was suffering some financial difficulties. Could you elaborate? L. Oh. That was in late '96. We were moving out of animal trials and corporate notified us that a major contract had ended for no reason. I wasn't told who the contract was with, but I can take a guess. As for my team, Our budget was strained because of it. If we didn't make a market-ready product in a year or two, the entire project would have been for nothing. I see. Is that why the supplement you told me about only works temporarily? Unfortunately, yes. I suppose I should ask for more detail on what happened to the facility we found your team in. A few months ago, my team had reached a high point, if you will. We were shipping out hundreds of organs every day. Each one meant another patient treated. It was our crowning achievement. Long pause, then, we heard about a missing shipment of the supplement. My superiors told me it was probably a bureaucratic accident. Nothing to be worried about. Then, we heard about another shipment. Then another. Angry by the fourth, corporate had finally figured out what was going wrong. Someone was stealing the shipments and taking them to who knows where. We only realized later that the chaos insurgency was involved. Considering that we just saved your team from a group of insurgents outside your bunker, I hardly find that surprising. Well, thank you for that. As I was saying, after our shipments began disappearing, it became clear that our comms were failing. Within a few weeks, we couldn't get in contact with our superiors. The only signal functioning was the emergency line, but even that was a garbled mess. When the comms came back on, almost all the lines were filled with, well, memes. About 50 different programs, all layered on top of each other. That's what our filters said. Anyway, could you determine their purpose? Well, not really. The first person to go over the data was Mickey. He was the most resistant to such things, or, at least, his tests said so. After a few seconds, he got up, walked down the hallway, and choked out a security guard. He didn't even flinch. He just killed him. Then, he moved on to the next guard. Then the next. Excuse me. One man took out 3 trained private security officers with his bare hands. That's more than a little unlikely. Well, I don't know how, but every shot fired at him missed, even from a fucking foot away. Pause. Sorry, that was unprofessional. How? It's fine. Continue. My team ran off, but one of them didn't make it. I don't know why Mickey even decided to be so brutal. Visibly uncomfortable, he just tore his legs off and slammed the torso against a wall. 6. That's unusual. Can you think of a potential motive for these actions? For Mickey, I have no idea. He might have been a sleeper agent, I don't really know. For the insurgency, Prometheus Labs was already in a bad position. A lot has happened this year, and, well, maybe the insurgency just wanted another technology to pilfer. Wasn't our facility ransacked? I'm not allowed to tell you that. Well, if it was. Agent, before we end this interview, can I ask you something? Sure. Please tell your superiors to try to save our patients. I haven't always considered your group to go out of their way to use anything that you consider anomalous, but I'd rather not be responsible for more than 1,000 people dying. Of course. This is West Bay, terminating the first interview with Dr. Lena. Date, December 17, 1998, end log, plus Access Research Lab #14 recent files, level 4 credentials accepted, 1 unread file. File retrieved, relatively little progress today. The only major accomplishment was the creation of a potential way to increase the convenience of the supplement, Prometheus. A titan cursed to be picked by crows for eternity for simply helping humanity. Due to the supplement's current injection-based design, it is relatively difficult to modify the cells of a modified organ, due to the injection having to be placed directly within said organ. How incredibly fitting, however, Research Lab number 14 has created a method that might allow the CRISPR-Cas9 system to automatically attach itself to cells with trace amounts of the unique plastic excreted by the organs. This would make it possible to inject the supplement anywhere in the bloodstream, massively decreasing the difficulty in administering it, after saving countless lives, creating countless, miraculous products. We are stuck with imbeciles. Although it is currently unknown how this method could be added to the CRISPR-Cas9 system, it might make it possible to administer the supplement in pill form, allowing it to be mixed with any other medication that may be in use. Who would rather hide in the darkness, terrified of the inevitable march of scientific progress? To add on to the summary, Research Lab number 14 is making 2 requests, and we have nowhere else to run to. We are stuck with a means to an end, and no way to reach the end. Increased access to supplement production facilities. Research Lab number 14 and its staff aren't certain that the limited resources provided to it will be able to meet the extremely large demand for the supplement. I will make damn well sure it doesn't stay that way. Additional amenities. Research Lab number 14, as well as the small number of locations the staff has access to, has very few opportunities for entertainment. Beyond this, the staff's living quarters are extremely confined, and several members of staff are suffering from sleep deprivation. Dr. Lena, P.S. They won't be able to read any of the white text. I have a program that automatically adds antimimetic effects to text sent through it. It should have the same effect as the supplement. Footnotes 1. CMTF Gamma 41 abridged documentation. 2. The process detailed below has activated even when exposed to plant material and carbon-based fuels. 3. aka clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. CRISPR-Cas9 and its variants are modified versions of a bacterial immune system capable of selectively removing and modifying genetic material. 4. Including genetic information of SCP-2687-C affected cells, microscopic analysis, etc. Imprecise and/or false information regarding SCP-2687-C can be perceived normally. 5. Note, the last 5 paragraphs of SCP-2687's description will be ignored by those not inoculated against SCP-2687-C's properties. Thus, it has been deemed unnecessary to install a security checkpoint for this section. 6. Judging from this, as well as several other testimonies, Mickey is currently thought to be POI-GE-21, a high-ranking chaos insurgency operative with anomalous capabilities. Currently, POI-GE-21 is still at large.